Hi everyone, here we are on the PTR once again. This will probably be the last PTR video that I do. We finally see what Blizzard's trying to achieve with the Vengeance Demon Hunter. We are predicting there's going to be some nerfs coming up to Spirit Bomb in the next patch as well, but let's talk about the current nerfs from my last video. One of the biggest nerfs is to Fracture. Fracture now costs 30 pain instead of 20 pain. This is kind of big because the whole idea is gearing. Blizzard's trying to make it so that we cannot generate a crap ton of soul fragments. With the auto consume now in effect, where every time you go over 5 shards or fragments, you auto consume in the excess fragments. And this procs your pain brainer for the damage reduction, procs healing. So it's kind of broken when we can have a 20 pain fracture. We can sit there and just fracture and auto consume all these fragments to heal ourselves and keep up our damage reduction. So it's kind of broken. So unfortunately, fracture was nerfed. It's now 30 pain instead of 20 pain. That means you're doing 2 less fractures per 100 pain, assuming you put up demon spikes for razor spikes. So it's kind of a big nerf. The next nerf is for Painbringer, your fragment buffs. So say you consume a soul. Let me go over to the dummy. So we go over here. Let's get a couple souls out. Get some pain up. Alright, so we have 2 souls. And if I eat one, I get Painbringer. And it gives me 3% damage reduction for 4 seconds. Now, if I ate a second one, now on live, if I ate a second one, when there's 1 second left in Painbringer, it'll auto-refresh back up to 4 seconds. Now, each fragment you consume gives you a 4-second buff, and it stays 4 seconds regardless if you pick up any more fragments. It doesn't auto-refresh anymore, which is a nerf, but honestly it's sort of needed. Without this nerf, we could keep up 15% damage reduction all the time. Because all you had to do is refresh it once within the time period, and with Fracture and Auto Consume, that was kind of easy to do. So that's a decent sized nerf. The next nerf is to Fallout. Well, okay. This is more of a bug fix than a nerf. Basically, on live right now, Fallout would produce fragments if you use, well, Immolation Aura, right? And if you had 5 fragments prior to this, you can go over 5. So you could have like, I don't know, 8 fragments, 9 fragments, and that's easy to do. So right now we have 5 fragments. Now when I pop Fallout, all the excess over 5 was auto-consumed. So Fallout can no longer allow you to have more than 5 souls at a time. So this was a decent sized nerf. You saw right there, Spirit Bomb still did 2 million damage. So it's still kind of big right now. And the Spirit Bomb nerf was 100% less damage per fragment. So instead of doing 400% damage, it now does 300% damage. So right now for the single target rotation, you would still weave in a 5 fragment Spirit Bomb with the current build. But there's some other changes that shows us that Blizzard doesn't want us to do that. They want us to actually use Soul Cleave. So we're predicting that Spirit Bomb will receive another nerf next patch, or next PTR build. Right now it's still used for single target. However, if they keep nerfing it, it's going to go back to the sustained talent from that tree, which it is what it is. Also, some big, well, a pretty decent buff is to our tier set. So our 2-set bonus now gives us 5% DR for all enemies within 10 yards when we consume a soul. And this just auto refreshes. So if we consume a soul, and it lasts for 6 seconds. So we consume a soul, 3 seconds left, we consume another, it auto refreshes. It does not stack. This is honestly like 5% DR all the time. With auto consume and fracture, you should have this buff up 100% of the time. The 4-set bonus. After using Soul Cleave, you gain 2,000 versatility for 8 seconds. This is crap. Honestly, this is really bad. Right now, we don't want to use Soul Cleave, so 2,000 versatility for Soul Cleave is worthless. Assuming they nerf Spirit Bomb, we still would not use Soul Cleave unless we needed a heal. So on live right now, we're still spamming Fracture and then only Soul Cleaving when we need to heal ourselves. And if they nerf Spirit Bomb, nothing has stopped this. We still would be doing that. If it's 2 targets with 5 souls, then you would probably use Soul Cleave, or 3 targets plus, you'll always use Soul Cleave, but on single target fights like raid bosses, this doesn't change anything. And then you take the 2,000 versatility, that's really not very good. So the 4-piece bonus is not good at all. There might be situations where people just won't take the 4-piece bonus unless that piece of gear is Titan Forged. So if that doesn't change, we have to wait until some math comes out, but that 4-piece is not good, but the 2-piece is amazing. So that 2-piece is a huge buff. Rotation wise, because of this Soul Cleave 4-piece, and they just buffed Soul Cleave healing, it is sort of like an indication that Blizzard wants us to use Soul Cleave. So in a normal rotation, just predicting now, essentially it's going to be a lot like live. But then again, things could change in the next build, so just grain of salt. And then we have Soul Carver had its DPS increase. So our Soul Carver will be doing a little bit more damage. I don't have my macros set up. Where's it at? Here it is. So yeah, it does more damage with the initial hit and then more damage over time. So it's just a nice little buff. Lastly is the Legendary Ring. If you're on Discord at all in the last week, you've probably seen conversations about it. So the new Legendary Ring will now give us the Fallout talent. So our tier 100, if you use the ring, you'll passively get Fallout, so you would never spec for it again. The go-to will probably be Burning Alive, so you would use a ring for Fallout, and then you spec into Burning Alive in most situations. Now, this can go either way. Right now, the Legendary Ring is not marked as a Legion Legendary. That means, currently on PTR, it does not count against you towards your 2 legendary cap. Now, if this is correct and this goes live, that means you could have 2 legendaries and the ring equipped. And in this scenario, there is no reason not to use it. It's awesome. You get a free talent, and it's going to be a 970 legendary ring that you're just going to have. So in that situation, this is good. Now, if they change it and mark it as a Legion Legendary, you probably will almost never use this ring, because in any encounter, choosing between Fallout and Burning Alive is really not that big of a deal. If you pick Burning Alive for high mythic pluses, yeah, not having Fallout sort of sucks, but honestly, you don't feel it, you don't really notice it as much. So if that ring is marked as a Legion Legendary, you're probably never going to use it, because it's not going to outweigh your other legendaries like Prades and Archies and the Cape or the Belt. Like, there's really no situation where that ring's going to outperform another legendary that you could just use. The other rumor to this is, seeing as they're all named after the title we received at the end of the Order Hall, the rumor or the idea is we're going to receive this as our reward for finishing our Order Hall quest campaign. This means this is not going to be random. You do your Order Hall campaign, you finish it, you get the ring as a reward. Now, this ring also works as the Warlords of Draenor trinket from Archimond, whereas when you change spec, the ring changes spec with you. So you're not going to get 2 or 3 copies of the ring. You just have one ring that changes spec. So that's kind of neat. And yeah, that's really it. I do want to point out though, I just noticed that the new tier 20 actually matches our challenge mode skin really well. Like it was clearly made for tier 20. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, this will be my last PTR update unless something drastic changes. I highly doubt it, but if something does, I'll be back in PTR. Otherwise, I'll get a 7.2.5 guide out on the Tuesday the patch drops. So it's out early, everybody has it, you can check it out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Otherwise, if you like, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe. Thank you for watching.